Welcome to 5 Star Weekly. Who could have predicted that to have happened? But is this repeatable? We get into all that and more coming up. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube. Welcome to the show, 5 Star Fam. I'm AJ, and this is Michael. And what a whirlwind of a week it has been, up and down. And LAFC, Inter Miami. They couldn't have been more disparate games, but I'm sure we probably are very happy that it was not the same type of game. And we'll get into the LAFC match, the Inter Miami match, but also preview the match coming up over the weekend. But before we get into everything, let's give some love and major plaudits, I guess, for our Patreon members. And yeah, you guys are legends. And Gavin, Jordan, Niall, Andrew, and Chris, we love you. But yeah, so let's get into that first match review. LAFC, we'll go through this real quickly because obviously not a really good game for us. Losing 4 straight at home never is good. But also as well, it's been a lot of attempts. It's been, I think, 10 attempts, for trying to get our 100th win. Unfortunately, it did not happen in this one. But, as well, I think, the way this match looked, it could have been a little bit different. It could have actually been a different story had there not been the red. But obviously that did happen, and I think if there is a positive, is that we kept Denis Bouanga off of the score sheet. Right now, a player that's just on fire, but also the 2023 Golden Boot winner as well. So it was a difficult match going in the sense that, we know how good LAFC is. They also were at 99 wins. So they, unfortunately, hit that century mark before we did, and they are a year younger. So I think it shows the trajectory, unfortunately, of the two clubs kind of since 2019, 2020. But yeah, as far as, this match went, LAFC was definitely that kind of team that played fast. They were, taking a lot of shots, 4 on target in the first half alone. Basically, they tested us for sure. And, I think it's that type of game that's, we didn't have a ton of looks, but when we had them, we could not put them away, which has been the case as of late. We have not been able to find those moments of magic. But as far as kind of your overarching thoughts on this LAFC match, Michael, what were your thoughts?
Coming into this game, I didn't have high hopes. You shouldn't, based on what we were looking at previous to this game. LAFC is a good team. They're a high-flying team. They score a lot, and it was going to be a little scary going up against them when we were in a spiral. Luckily, we were able to keep them from scoring a goal from the run of play, which is pretty good. And like you said, the only real reason we gave up a goal was due to almost a self-inflicted injury, with a strange matter of happenstance with Brad Guzan getting sent off after heading the ball back to, was it Bogusz? And then tripping him up and then getting basically a dog from that, resulting in a red and him getting off. And then they got a free kick, which then Josh Cohen had to come in. And boy, welcome to MLS, Josh Cohen, because that was a hell of a strike, and it bounced off of someone, I think it was Schleich or something, that made it impossible to save, altering the trajectory of the ball. And Josh Cohen probably could have saved it had it not deflected anywhere. He looked spry, he looked ready. and unfortunately, it just completely sent them the wrong direction, and they got a pretty easy goal off of that, unfortunately. And
He
that
still
was
got a
what
hand on it
solid-
too, and that's the bitter part of it. Is like, oh man, like
Yeah, I feel so sorry
had it
for him.
covered.
That's a tough debut, but you know, we'll talk about it later. But he makes up for it, and I'm not deterred. I'm not upset about him starting whatsoever going forward. If that happens to be the case, really feel comfortable with him in the net, despite what happened in the game against LAFC.
Yeah, indeed. And, you know, I think there may have been some things that we learned from this match, because LAFC, they were just like, you can have the ball. Doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
You know, we'll pretty much be direct. We will attack you at every moment, throw men forward when we need to. But, you know, when it actually comes to possessing the ball, you know, no big deal. Which, you know, I think there's moments where you know, you can use that, where you can have that, because it is defensively, having the ball actually is a very good way to actually prevent your opponent from actually being able to do anything. But you know, as far as attacking wise, always having the ball, yeah, you know, it's not always, as we will find out, you know, not always the greatest ploy to score goals. So
Yeah, I mean, like 5 in the back, that's a difficult thing for Atlanta to play against, to break down a team like that. Like, that's kind of been a kryptonite for us, because we haven't been able to bury a team once they give us possession and allow us to kind of walk right up to their front door. We just seem to not be able to do anything about it. Then they hit us in the transition. This is the rule. This is the playbook to play Atlanta, especially at home, and for us at home. And it's really, really concerning up until that game that we don't really change, or we don't really try and adjust for this obvious counter that teams play against us, which seems to be hurting us so much, so regularly. So it's frustrating. This result seemed to be more of the same. There was intensity, urgency among the players. They tried. They kept LAFC to only 1 goal, and it was, like I said, not from the run of play. So not bad. There's something to build on there. Fortunately, it's, you know, it could have been a harbinger of even worse things to come. And we'll get into why that is with the next match.
right, for sure. But yeah, I mean, I think the positives out of this was that when Thiago Almada came on, yeah, he looked definitely a lot more like his old self, and you know, provided a spark that we really desperately needed. And I think, yeah, like we're alluding to, it did carry over to our next match. But also, Stian Gregerson, you know, in the minutes that he played, he looked like the guy who we were missing in defense. You know, while we haven't really conceded a ton of goals, you know, without him, it's the timing of the goals and us not being able to kind of jumpstart our attack and be clinical in front of goal. And you know, I think when you have somebody that can be, you know, something that I mention all the time, that safety valve allows your team to kind of, you know, throw a little bit more caution to the wind. That definitely helps. And you know, I think we'll get into how that was a factor in the Inter Miami match. But yeah, I mean, just showing off every tool in his tool belt in this match, where Gregerson, he was chasing down players that, you know, at times half his size, and also, you know, as well, last-ditch tackles, making sure that you know, the ball goes out so that, you know, the team can reset. Just very important things that, you know, are kind of the little intangibles that come with experience. And you know, you have players that maybe are less defensively aware. They might keep the ball in. They might maybe not even make the tackle, or you know, do a tactical foul. It's just super important things that kind of keep you within the match. And Gregerson, you know, along with Williams, when they're together, it just definitely seems like a different animal. But
Stian's not just athletic; he's smart too.
Yeah. yeah, there's a cerebralness to his defending that is absolutely very much appreciated. It's a breath of fresh air, especially what we've been dealing with lately. But yeah, I mean, I think notably there were some moments where we really should have put the ball in the back of the net, and I think that Rios chance is glaring. But I think when Saba, Silva, when they're able to kind of get into the match, both of them anyway, it definitely I think makes it a whole different type of kind of disposition for the opposition. But we've been playing shorthanded. We also, in this match, just really didn't set up, I think, in the proper way to have success. So, ultimately, while the numbers are like fairly close to a degree, it just really never seemed like it was going to happen. LAFC, unfortunately, just seemed like more of the team that, it was more fated. But yeah. So, I mean, final thoughts on this LAFC match?
I mean, LAFC came in, they knew what the plan was and how to dismantle us, and they did it to, a perfect degree. It's annoying when the playbook is so thoroughly out on you and you aren't able to adjust. It's basically like you see it coming. It's like the steamroller in the Austin Powers movie where you see it coming from so long and it still gets you. Like, that's what it feels like watching some of these games. So it's frustrating.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah. So the LAFC match ended up, it was a 1-0 win for them. 4th straight loss at home. Definitely some work to do for the Five Stripes when we get back to the Benz on Sunday against Charlotte. But the midweek match did happen. Not the highest hopes going into it, considering the form. Winless in the last 9, and any sort of result against the league leaders would have been just an incredulous moment. And I think we would have celebrated a draw. But it wasn't the case. We got all 3 points instead, and against a full strength Inter Miami with Lionel Messi, with Jordi Alba, with Sergio Busquets, with Luis Suarez. I mean, that that quadrifecta. I don't even know what's the word there. Help me out. But all 4 of them.
I'm thinking. I wanted to use I wanted to say like a pentaveret because I like to use that word, but that's 5.
It's a quadruple probably, but it's less fun than a trifecta.
Yeah.
So but anyway, So as far as that, it looked pretty grim going in. I mean, it was like just at this point, I think a lot of people were thinking, okay, well, a couple matches left before the international window. If we don't get points in this one, well, Gonzalo Pineda's probably going to get the axe. This doesn't mean he might not get the axe, but it definitely, for us to get our 100th win against the league leaders, I mean, there is a little bit of like goodwill that this has earned. And I thought, with the changes that we made, which was, in the sense that we saw Caleb Wiley on the wings, we saw, in terms of a 3-man back line as well, that was fluid as well. That could, be a 4-man back line with Abram. But, while if it's sustainable or not, that's the question. But, I think you saw much more freedom for Muyumba. You saw Dax McCarty, I think show his leadership and be able to kind of be the general in that midfield to make sure that we had the platform to play. And I think, we kind of loaded that right side, or that our left side, but the right side of Inter Miami, so that, we always had somebody to deal with Lionel Messi. And he like Thanos is inevitable, but he did score. Hopefully and thankfully, it's that thing where it didn't really matter that much. While we were able to pretty much, I wouldn't say smash and grab, because I think we were doing what LAFC did to us in a sense.
But better.
But better, yeah. We were more clinical, and basically playing direct on the counter, and leading up to the goal. Before that, we had a number of very good combination play and chances that it just was the last ball, and Saba on his first goal. Ooh, I mean, it's just definitely a little bit different where you don't really see him just drive through the middle like that, and him doing that really was the difference here, where no one knew on Inter Miami how to really cover him.
No one stepped to him.
Yeah.
Like, he had so much space and time, and I guess they thought, go give it a shot. You're just some guy from Georgia. And then he shows up big time and lets them know.
Oh, yeah. And so I think a lot of us fell out of our seat a little bit seeing that goal, because, I mean, it is hit as well as you can be. I think the only way it would have been hit better is if it was hit on the right side and it curled in from the right side and then kisses the post from the right side. But no, it's the other way around. It's curling away from the keeper into the top left corner, top bins, and Calendar can't do anything about it. It's just a sweet strike, and it's 1-0. I think a lot of fans are absolutely like, where's this coming from? Holy crap! Especially the past month or so, that Saba has been missing a good number of good chances. His XG showing that pretty much at around -2 XG. Now it's a lot better, I'm sure, but well, maybe not a lot better, because these weren't high chances. This is a shot that I don't think you're gonna see a very high probability of a goal here. It's just that how true he hits this ball. But yeah, and it's 1-0. We go into the half where we're leading for the first time in I don't even know how long. It's at least been a month probably. I think because we were leading that Philly match, but it is in this sense just a good marker when we are up. Generally, we are able to finish the business, especially on the road. Like, how many times have we been up on the road? Can you think of the last time?
No, we're abysmal on the road, so yeah, I doubt we are rarely ever up on the road.
Right. And so hopefully it's not the hopefully we have not used up all our goals for our road matches in this one, because 3 is a lot on the road. We barely score 1 sometimes. So yeah, it's definitely in a place that has been a little bit of a house of horrors. This is our first win in Fort Lauderdale against Inter Miami in our history, and as well this match. It's the first match since May 16th, 2021 that Lionel Messi scored in that he lost. So first time in over 3 years. That's insane, and we'll take that every day. That was against Celta de Vigo, and of course that's when he was playing for Barcelona. But and then as well, we're the first team to win at Miami when Messi starts a match since he arrived last summer. So a good number of games since then. We've kind of created some history in this one, but
King Slayers, God Killers, whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah.
Deicide.
For sure.
Regicide, whatever.
Oh man, going deep here. But yeah, and that second goal, man. I mean, it's one of those where now obviously Saba's feeling himself after that first goal. He celebrated with the ball at his tummy for his pregnant wife, blew a kiss. I mentioned on the Scarves and Spikes podcast the watch along that it would have been even a colder celebration if his wife wasn't pregnant or his girlfriend wasn't pregnant. He just blew a kiss to the camera, after our form.
That
Oh
would be
man,
hilarious.
yeah, that's just like, man, ice in your veins at that point. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, throw caution to the wind at that point. That's hilarious. But it wasn't the case, obviously. But if we were to do that, I mean, let's do that. But yeah. So that second goal, you have basically, Saba released, on the wing, Brooks Lennon. He's kind of overlapping the run. It seemed initially they might make the same run. Thankfully, Brooks Lennon continued on his way on the right more so. Saba was able to cut in on his left. And we've kind of seen this from him in yesteryear where he is able to cut in on his left and score with kind of a more curled shot. But this one, just as good as we've seen him. Like another unstoppable shot. And Miami, they just gave him too much space and allowed him to do his best.
Zero respect.
Yeah, zero respect
for the man.
Yeah, like he just hit a banger against you, and you're just give him more space. They probably were like, yeah, he's not gonna hit it on his left. Like, he's right-footed. Like, it's not gonna be possible. But he did his best Arjen Robben impression, and boy did he. It's just, yeah. I mean, if he can channel more of that energy often, I think he'll be even more of a force to be reckoned with in more matches, I feel like. But
maybe he should have a kid more often if this is how he's gonna play.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that can only happen every 9 months or so. So, hopefully it's.
We'll work on that.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll see if science can kind of make that go faster. But
we have the technology.
We can clone. So yeah, But as far as the third goal, which there was a Messi goal in between all that, which was a worm burner, slight little deflection, but I mean, just nothing that Cohen could do about it. It's it did bring a little bit of like, oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah, because like all the Miami fans are saying they're a second half team. Right. They're gonna come out, they're gonna score a whole slew of goals, seemingly from out of nowhere, and be like, oh look, we won again. And Miami fans have come to expect that type of thing, but they didn't. They were not ready. They did not expect Josh Cohen and Stian Gregerson. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And especially it's how resolute this defense mostly was, sans the Messi moment, because the XG, I think shots wise, besides possession, we dominated in the most important parts that we needed to. And our XG at 3.4, their XG at 0.7, and that's not counting that Saba, both of his goals are not high XG shots. Like, it's largely probably the two missed Mosquera shots, unfortunately. Those were very high, should have been put in. That would have been an even more of an embarrassment of riches. And yeah, I think another TRA chance, I think, in there as well. But Giorgos Giakoumakis, he was able to come on, and Jay Fortune as well, to kind of spell a little bit, get some minutes in their legs. But yeah, I mean, basically, it's a very interesting kind of supposition for Sunday, essentially, against Charlotte. If we are to play it like this, can we do that at home? That's really a big question.
That's the problem, right? It's that we played in this game like how LA played against us. We put a 3-man back line. We absorbed pressure. We conceded, the possession battle, let them have the ball, and we absorbed their pressure. stymied them in the defensive half, and then just off to the races after that. Constantly putting balls over top, through balls. And I mean, I don't know. There was something going on with this match because the passes, the through balls, you know, everything we did was so clean. I mean, for the most part, there's a couple that, you know, obviously, but for the most part, we were very clean. We were efficient on the ball. It was incredible. It was like watching, like, so many games before this, there were so many over or underweighted passes, inaccurate passes, errant, you know, just completely off base, chemistry not there whatsoever. Chemistry was here in bundles. Like, the accuracy, everything was here. I couldn't, it was like watching a completely new team. I don't know, and then we talk about how it's probably confidence based. This confidence came, you know, they had it. They had it in spades. I don't know where it came from. Maybe it's the fact that, you know, your back's up against the wall and you're playing against the best player perhaps to ever play the game. Maybe that brought the fight out of them. I don't know what it was, but whatever it was something truly special. And I'm very jealous of the fans who were there in person to see that, because that's a special historical type of night to be an Atlanta United fan. So yeah, to your point, we're not going to be able to play every team this way. Other teams like Charlotte this weekend, they're not going to probably want to have the majority of possession. They're going to want to concede because they're going to want to, you know, do what LA did to us or what we did to Miami, because that's the playbook, like I said earlier. So they know they're going to do that. And if we try and do that too, you're going to have two teams not wanting the ball. That's going to be weird. I don't think that'll be the case when we play at home. We like to be on the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so, but then that asks the question, can we get the goals from dominating possession and from being on the front foot and not conceding from, you know, the playbook on us?
Yeah.
Statistics says we will fail at this because we have the last many times. And, you know, the only reason we won in Miami is because we were able to play in a completely different way, because Miami really wanted to play like essentially how we did. I don't know if, you know, if we can get that first goal and then we draw Charlotte out, then maybe we'll see the same thing. But if not, or if Charlotte gets that first goal, we could be looking at like things being the same old.
Right, and we'll get into that in the match preview, but yeah, to kind of finish out this match, yeah, it's that classic case of you have a top side who likes to play with the ball, and you have a side that, I mean, we're essentially, you know, the trap game for them, where, you know, we look like we're on the outs, we're struggling hardcore, and we're able to find, you know, the kind of perfect formula to play against a top side that is unsuspecting. They're thinking, you know, probably overconfident that yeah, these are 3 points. You know, we've got you know, our full squad. They're rested. You know, we're first in the league, and I mean, I think you'll see later on in the standings that, well, it didn't really affect that much, but at least for, you know, the standings anyway. But the actual morale, I mean, I think it, you know, definitely is a massive shot in the arm. And is this a turning point in the season? That's really kind of a you know, a big question here is, can we use this in a really positive way that is not just a trivial moment where, you know, oh yeah, there was a time we beat Inter Miami in one of our worst seasons ever. Like, hopefully it's not that case. And as far as the you know, addressing the motivation, I mean, I think, yeah, definitely, you know, Argentina eyes definitely playing a part for Thiago Almada, you know, not only with the Olympic team, but also just in general on a whole as the country. Yeah, you know, they're paying attention to Lionel Messi, of course, but also when you have your star boy, you know, possibly the future of the Argentina team as well playing. So you have that. Also spotting that, you know, Thiago Almada's girlfriend was at the match. I mean, yeah, who wants to play badly in front of your loved ones? I mean, you know, I think that also probably plays a part too, where, you know, he looks like a man on fire. He looks like a guy who, was willing things to happen. And, I think...
And it was infectious. Yeah. The whole team played like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think it wins you some brownie points when, you beat Lionel Messi and you look better in some ways than Lionel Messi at parts of the match. I think, not only with the fans, but also your girlfriend. But, as far as kind of, I guess, final thoughts on this match before we move into the news.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of covered it with like the preamble up to the Charlotte preview. It's going to be an interesting next couple of games. I'm hoping that Pineda has learned, as now he's been elevated to Coach of the Week. I'm hoping now he learns that this is a valuable and valid way of playing away against teams that want to have, the possession game locked up. Maybe we should start doing this more often. Maybe we might start to see more victories away. Because, I mean, honestly, Miami at home is probably the hardest matchup. Maybe Cincinnati or Columbus could give you a good one, or LAFC. But, I think everyone would probably put their money on Miami being the hardest. And we were able to do it. So that is a proven strategy right there. If we can continue to do that, we can get results away. We just have to have the courage to maybe even the humility to say, let's not play our quote-unquote game away, and instead try and hit them on the counter in transition, things like that. Let them have the ball. It goes against our quote-unquote identity and the way we want to play, but at certain times you just got to get some points and we need points, so have a little humility.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's that too. It's on the road. You absolutely you got to find any way to win and get those points. So that's really the crux of it. But let's get into the news then. And LA United, because of this match as well, as far as in the standings, hasn't really changed very much. Unfortunately, we're still in 12th. That's just kind of exemplifies kind of the place that we're in right now, is that, even though our goal difference is 2, and those around us, Montreal at -12, Orlando at -7, DC at -6, at, those positions around us, with our goal difference and probably, I guess form-wise, if we had maybe just taking care of business at home, we'd probably be in a little bit more of the kind of 5th, 6th kind of territory in the standings. But those 7 losses currently so far are very painful, and kind of leads to kind of where we are. But getting into as well as our your Michael's kitty is making a cameo in the background there for those of you watching the video. But as far as team of the match day, Saba, as well as Stian Gregerson, as well as Tristan Muyumba, have made the 11 and the squad for that, as well as aforementioned Gonzalo Pineda. So definitely amazing stuff. And as well, Saba is up for the MLS goal of the match day against Lionel Messi, and so unfortunately he's never going to win that, because Lionel Messi has a lot more fans than Sapa Lapsinice, unfortunately. But as well, we've got the MLS All-Star Game. The voting process has begun, and so players, fans, media can all vote, and so a slew of kind of the first team players have all been able to be eligible for being voted in. But you feel like there's anybody that is deserving of an All-Star Game nod?
I mean, I think in the past you had Giakoumakis and Thiago. I still think that they're good enough players to be on a MVP team or All-Star team. I mean, I don't really care if they go or not. I don't think they care very much either. So it's, whatever if they get called and they go. But yeah, those are the two that would definitely be, because they have in the past, be on the All-Star team.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like, we need to kind of save our guys as much as we can, first off anyway, but it's also, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a very, very busy summer for a lot of these players. So, will some of them even be around? Yeah, I'm not even sure. So, but, yeah. As well, let's get into where Caleb Wiley, he's been called up for the U.S. Men's Olympic soccer team roster for the pre-Olympic training camp. And yeah, he'll join the U.S. U.S. team from June 3rd to 11th in Kansas City, with a friendly match against Japan on June 11th to cap it off. But Noah Cobb also, he gets a call up to the U.S. Youth National Team U19s for the June training camp. That's very well deserved. And yeah, but I think one of the main things is, yeah, these kids are, our homegrowns are getting the attention even in spite of the form, but it means even more players missing in some moments. But at least this is for the international window. But if he gets called up for some of the matches, he gets the attention. It's good for the player, but we're a team that's always short because we get so many call-ups, good and bad. It's just something we need to be able to figure out, that because we play through some of these international windows, and yep, leads to the disdain and form that we have for the club. But yep, okay. Moving into the transfer rumors, and Matteo Moretto and also Tom Bogert are pretty much talking about Giorgos Giakoumakis and the possible departure. Cruz Azul have reportedly offered $8 million, might be coming in for an even higher offer. You have other teams as well. You have Club America. You have other teams such as the Corinthians and possibly other European clubs that are interested as well, according to Moretto. So definitely a lot of smoke around Giorgos Giakoumakis, who apparently, according to Tom Bogert, he loves Gonzalo Pineda, but it is a thing where he would move for the money. So that's not exactly going to ingratiate yourself with the fans hearing that. But yeah, how are you feeling after hearing all this?
I mean, when you have a good player, you're gonna get interest. It worries me a little bit that teams come looking when they see that we perhaps are in a bit of desperation, and trying to see if they can get us in a disadvantaged situation, so they could get a good deal or a good bargain or something along these sorts. But for us, I don't think that that's really the case. I think Giorgos can pretty much put out like what he wants, and clubs are going to have to see if they can come up with that, and Atlanta will agree to it if the price is right. And I think that it would be silly of them to turn away offers that are like double or even close to triple the amount that they paid for him. It would be like crazy bad business if you were to do that. I mean, you could get some pretty heavy hitters for that type of money. There's Antoine Griezmann out on the market. Like, there's a bunch of other really good strikers that could be potentially looked at. I don't think we would be in a horrible spot if that were to happen. I don't like the move or the potential move just because I like Giorgos as a player, as a personality. I think he has that dog in him. I think he's got that fighting mentality and spirit. The anger, he's a good suitable kind of heir apparent to Joseph in that, he's, hard-nosed. He's not exactly angry, but you can see like he's grits his teeth. He's in it to win it. He's that kind of player that is exciting because he gets fired up, and he wants to win really badly. He's the kind of player who can grab a team by the scruff and raise them up if necessary. If they're, looking down or not feeling well or what have you because they're not playing good, he can say, like, get off your butt, let's go. We can do this, because he wants to win really badly. So I think it's a guy you want to have, and I would hate to see him go because I really, really favor that type of personality on especially Atlanta United. We've always had a player like that, and we really need one. We don't need a soft-spoken person or, Messi's great and all, but he's not exactly, like, boisterous. Atlanta needs boisterous personalities, and Giorgos nails that for me.
I mean, yeah, I definitely agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think there is, kind of the counterpoint from a lot of people that are saying, his injury record, his, yellow card accumulation, his availability is definitely something to question, for sure. Even though, when he's on the pitch, when he's in good form, it's unquestionable that he is, a leader on this team. He, can be our talisman and somebody that really makes things happen for us when he's on the pitch. But I think it's also, maybe it gives us an opportunity to go after the likes of somebody like, Antoine Griezmann. But it is, against our kind of MO, also against kind of maybe the profile that we're looking for, unless we do a little bit of a change up in terms of leadership. Because, yeah, I mean, you also have the likes of maybe like Paulo Dybala, who, a little bit more of that attacking midfielder. But, if Almada leaves, well, Paulo Dybala, who, might be out of contract soon, or his contract is expiring soon, that could also be a good look for a possible, kind of swap for an Argentine big name if we're going to kind of go in that route that, isn't a completely finished player. Like Dybala is still a very, very good player in the whole world scheme. But so, yeah, that's not a rumor. Actually, that's just me pontificating, like, players that have, kind of have contracts that are dying out. But yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely, if Giakoumakis leaves, definitely would be sad to see him go. I think it might provide a chance to give a different profile, especially when we have, two target forwards behind him as well. It's, the redundancy is definitely there. So, if you can get the type of player that can allow us to, play more dynamically, kind of incorporate more of our other players, instead of just relying on one person to score all the goals, I think, kind of a goals by committee is never really a bad thing if, obviously the players are clinical in front of goal. But, yeah, let's move on to LA United 2. They played Chattanooga FC to a 2-2 draw before falling to 5-3 to them in penalties in 5-3 on Saturday night at Finley Stadium. Javier Armas, Luke Brennan each found the back of the net, and both of them are having great seasons for LA 2 right now. But yep, so that does it for the news, and it gets us to the match preview. And yes, 4:45 p.m. on Sunday, Charlotte FC at the Benz. But yeah, a weird time for sure. Definitely smack dab in the middle of the day. So yep, you're gonna be going to the Atlanta United match if you're planning on going, and because as far as anything else that you're gonna do during the day, good luck. But yeah, Charlotte FC, they last match they lost 3-1 against the New York Red Bulls, and our last match against them, ironically enough, was to a 3-1 loss versus Charlotte on May 14th, 2023. And then also, ironically enough, we won 3-1 against Inter Miami. So 3-1 is the theme of this game, possibly. Will that be the scoreline? We'll see. But Yeah, as far as the the last 4 games for LA United and Charlotte FC, we've won 2. They've also won 2. No draws in between. So it's definitely a side that with their new coach, Dean Smith, that basically he's kind of having them in kind of the best form that they've ever had, and them being 7th in the Eastern Conference, whether that's a little bit fool's gold or not, it's definitely an instant impact for them so far from from the former Sheffield United coach, from Aston Villa coach. It's basically a guy who's got a lot of pedigree, and color me very surprised that he actually went there, but he he's doing pretty good for them, and especially when they have had some really key departures. Karol Swiderski, one of their stalwarts, their captain. The second DP spot for them, to start their entire existence. But as well as Guzman Corujo and Kamil Jazwiak, definitely guys that were very important. But they've definitely added some players such as Petkovic. They've also lost Kopetti kind of early on in the season as well. They moved him on. So, all this in spite of kind of the chaos in their roster, they've been able to get into 7th place here. So, it's not too bad, especially considering the pundits pretty much had them finishing as high as 12th, or 8th rather, just an outlier 8th, but as low as 15th. So pretty much amongst the worst in the East is pretty much what the predictions were. So it is definitely a thing if they can get back into the wild card game, or actually cement a place into the playoff spots. It would be a very successful season for them, especially considering they're not a very good side in terms of attacking. As far as kind of a team that I think they're more reliant on kind of the individual skill, and kind of more from dead ball situations, and they're definitely gonna kind of set up shop if and when they get a lead. So they've kept a clean sheet in their last 5 matches, at least before the New York Red Bulls match, and there have been under 2.5 goals scored in Charlotte FC's last 5 games. So doesn't seem like there's going to be a ton of goals, but what would you like to see from LA United against Charlotte FC?
I would like to see them win. How they do that, I think, is by, like I kind of said earlier, I would like to see them, play their game. It makes I feel a little uneasy saying those words because it hasn't worked out in that way for us in the past. But I feel like the way to do this is to score an early goal against Charlotte and force them to come out, because they are going to kind of park the bus. And that's dangerous to us. If we can get that first early goal, I think things open up. I think we can really take advantage of them. And this can be a bit of a runaway if we can get rolling, especially since the guys are probably still, on cloud 9 after the last game. They can bring some of that energy into this. We might be able to overwhelm them early with this new sense of confidence and bravado. Hopefully that comes from that last game. That's what I'm hoping to see. I think that probably is the roadmap, but whether or not we can execute that remains to be seen, and I don't think the balance of probability favors us with that. I don't know if we're just going to see another Saba masterclass open this game up. Mm-hmm. Statistics kind of tell me that's not going to happen again. It maybe Thiago can do or something like this, because we have a hard time breaking down like low blocks. So if that's the way they set up, it's going to be a challenge.
Indeed. Yeah, essentially we have to find a way to eschew possession as much as we can a little bit. but also, I think it's also if we play in a similar fashion in terms of lining up, well, yeah, I think we will have our best technicians. So that, at the very least, is better in that sense of when we are playing with possession. And we have a lot of willing runners, in our latest lineup. So, if we were to kind of persist in that way, that is a positive. The one concern that, maybe not only one concern, but one of the major concerns of that lineup has been, and I've harped on this, is, wingbacks, they have to do a lot of running. And, we only have 3 senior fullbacks. And so, it's asking a lot. It's going to be very taxing, but you also have a whole entire international window coming up. Maybe you empty the tank. Maybe you ask these players to kind of give everything, and kind of let it be okay. But
this result's important.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to solidify the lessons learned, the confidence instilled from last game. If you don't come up big in this game, I fear that you might see a regression, and that we did not take advantage of the amazing performance we put on last game.
Yeah, it is. We've called a lot of these games must wins. I mean, the Inter Miami game was not, obviously. That was as implausible of a win as it could have been this season, if ever, really. But and so I think that speaks to kind of the just as I mentioned, the incredulousness, the implausibility that many people felt that this result was. But against the Charlotte, so for Atlanta United, Bartosz Slisz likely will, and very not even likely, he will not be part of the squad. He's off for a personal matter. Rumor is he's getting married, and then he will be away with Poland for most of that window as well. So, basically he will not be available, like he wasn't for Inter Miami, and then also Tyler Wolff as well, of course, out probably 3 to 4 more weeks with the MCL. But we pretty much have a full squad to choose from besides those two for the first time in some time. So, the 9+2, I mean, largely, okay, besides Slisz, we have our first choice. So, will we go with our first choice, or will we persist with the 11 that we chose for Inter Miami? What do you think? I mean, does...
I'm...
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, but before you answer it, because the main bit here is, as well, Braguzan is possible to be back. Does he slot right back in, or do you keep Josh Cohen?
Yeah, I mean, I like I said earlier, I would like to see Josh Cohen, take the reins a bit. It just feels, like I said, I feel more comfortable with Josh Cohen in net than Brad Guzan. Not that saying Brad Guzan will do a worse job, or that, he will make like a big difference or something along these lines. I don't think so. I just think it feels aesthetics wise that like Cohen is just a better fit for the moment. I mean, it's kind of like a novelty thing, right? It's like we only have really kind of good vibes from him, whereas obviously Brad Guzan is not jaded, but like he's gone up and down, right? So we only know good things about Cohen. Brad's been vacillating back and forth. So Brad's a known quantity. Cohen is like, who knows what we'll get? Maybe really, really great. So that kind of gives me the optimism to say, why not run with him after he's essentially done very well against Miami? And I mean, with the LA goal, it wasn't his fault. So, and outside of that, he did pretty good too there. So, like, I'd be okay with it. And if Brad ends up being in net too, I'd be all right with that too. I just feel like maybe it's a 55% I'm leaning towards Cohen, I prefer, and then maybe 45% to Brad Guzan.
Yeah, I think going by merit and going by kind of a changing of the guard naturally, this is the moment. This is the time to make that change, especially Brad Guzan. He didn't earn his place by getting the red card, putting the team in jeopardy. This is, kind of things kind of have a way of working themselves out. This is that way that can just naturally happen, where, okay, yeah, now you also see a more motivated Thiago Almada. Okay, this is maybe a great way, by keeping him with the armband, to, maybe make sure that
something
he
worked.
continues his form.
Something worked. Maybe a confluence of things all worked together to produce whatever that was in Miami. But whatever that we did to get that, I don't know if it was some needed fan base out there sacrificing goats or something with black magic to make that work. Whatever it was, we need to do it again. And if that means putting Cohen in goal again, keep the vibes going, I'm down for it. I feel like that's a good idea.
Right. Because I think with the lineup that we played against Inter Miami, we can do this at home. It's just a matter of, we do have to shift a little bit, kind of the way we play, as far as, we will see the ball more. We will need to take care of the ball more, in the sense that, but yeah, maybe hit out of the blocks earlier, try to score that early goal, kind of throw everything at that early, because, we know how dangerous we are and how much it opens the game for us when that happens, instead of, kind of letting the opposition kind of feel their way into the match, grow into the game, and then, maybe they score a goal against the run of play, and then, we're having to chase and find a moment of magic in order to get back in it. It's just, we've seen that movie way too many times.
Tale as old as time.
Yeah, it's just, I'm a fan of Land Before Time, but I'm not a fan of the story that we constantly see at the Benz. But for me, I wouldn't change very much, if at all. The only thing I think is that so getting through the back line, I mean, it's just Gregerson, Williams, Abraham, 3-man center back core, Lennon, Wiley, wing backs, McCarthy, Muyamba as the midfielders, Almada in the 10. Stop me if you want to change anything. Saba up top, along with Giorgos Giakoumakis, because he was able to see some minutes, and I think seeing him start, I think it could add to even more of the what we need, which is clinical ability. And yes, Jamal Siari, he did get a goal, but I think it also is Giorgos Giakoumakis, if you can get him going, even though it is the match before the international window, it still is very important for that confidence in the team. But would you change it?
Yeah, and Jamal can come on later.
Yeah, exactly. So while that adds more fluidity to the squad as well, because Wiley can kind of play as a left wing at times if he needs to. Saba can get onto the wing if needed, but him being more central was really, really important in getting him going. And kind of that basically, I do like the lineup in the sense that it adds to really the really difficult part for the opposition to track who's going where and where are they going to be. The unpredictability is super important, because that's been one of our issues, is that it's just far too predictable. We know where these players are going to be, and it just ends up being too easy for the opposition. And these players in this lineup, it allows for the flexibility for them to pop up in different areas and still have enough cover. We pretty much have at least 4 men back at all times, in a sense. So that ain't too bad, especially.
And Stian almost is 2 players.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's definitely something that's is a good look for, I think, what's going on in the league right now too. There's a lot of teams that are shifting into a back line of 5, or 3-man, where you have wing backs. It just you kind of see these shifts.
They all got the memo. It's hard to win away in MLS. So
Right. Yeah, and you always see these shifts in the game where teams are kind of finding ways that people are successful, and then okay, well, what's our version? But yeah, what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below what that 11 looks like for you guys. But it gets us to our score prediction. What do you got?
yeah, my heart says we're gonna keep this party going, and I think it's gonna be 2-0 us. However, my head says I think it might be 1-1, maybe, and I think that we might struggle this game because I think there's a chance Pineda goes back to his normal formation, not the three in the back, and we see Silva and Saba on the wings again, and we see the return to that form to control and dominate the game, and to put our imprint on it, and then to smother the other team in our attacking half, and to score goals like that. I think that is what they believe is the recipe for playing at home for us, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a return to that. I would be sad if we did. I mean, again, like, tactically speaking, it's I'd prefer that we play the way that we were talking about, but I don't know if he will do it, so we'll see.
It did. Yeah, I also have it as a draw, but it is 2-2 in my opinion. I think there will be goals. I think there will be some moments where, yeah, I mean, midweek match, some fatigue will set in. It won't be maybe exactly how we're going to draw it up, but yeah, I guess it's a trending in the right direction at home, at least.
Do you think, are we scoring late? Are we clawing back into the game, or are we leading the way, do you think, with your 2-2 prediction?
Yeah, I think we're leading the way, and we give up kind of a goal in the second half.
Back to return to old form, huh?
Yep. It's that's the thing. It's the predictable nature of one anomaly match. Hopefully, it's not an anomaly, but it's hard to bet against it at the moment. And
yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say it was an anomaly. There are things that are repeatable from it that I hope we learn and pick up and use, but I don't think Miami plays this unclinical against us all the time. I don't think that they will give us this much space all the time. I think they, when we go up against them again, I think they play us probably a little different. So yeah, I'm not sure if it's repeatable. We'll see.
Yeah, they'll probably have different pressing triggers. They'll probably allow us to be more on the ball. They'll probably, I think find ways to kind of overload us in different areas. I mean, it's Tata Martino we're talking about. Like they know how to adjust. He knows how to win. That's the point. But yeah, so that does it for the match preview and pretty much the entire episode, except for the question of the day. And the question of the day is, do you think a move will be made in the international window? Let us know in the comments below. Looking forward to what you have to say. But guys, that is the episode there and there. We had a stop and start week in a sense, but yeah, it's ending on a start, I guess, in that way. And so hopefully it will lead to better things. But yeah, guys, remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. That's Michael. I'm AJ. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.